Turning to that exclusive, the Sutherlands breaking their silence 6 months after authorities say the 25-year-old was kidnapped while jogging.
Sydney's family talks about the case in a moment between Sydney's mom and the accused killer. Tonight they're sitting down speaking only to KARK's Mitch McCoy.
Bob and Laura, hello. Our conversation went on for more than an hour at the family's home just outside Newport. Tonight, Sydney Sutherland, the young nurse from Jackson County, Arkansas, and the family who was forced into the national spotlight for all of the wrong reasons. County Road 41, where asphalt and gravel meet, and a pink cross marks the spot where one story ends and another begins.
Sydney Sutherland is my baby girl, my best friend.
Maggie Sutherland, Sydney's mom, says the mother-daughter duo were always side by side.
We go to ball games and still sit with friends. She would sit with me.
Sydney, just 25, a little sister.
She was always the baby.
Sam, one of her big brothers.
Family events, I mean, she'd let you know what you needed to bring and how it was going to go.
From either side of our family, she was the only girl. We had all boys.
Days before their nightmare would begin, the family was on a vacation in Florida, a regular getaway trip. Sam's then 5-month-old daughter with Sydney, better known as Aunt Sassy.
She loved being an aunt.
She's going toward the wind.
That's who she was.
The Sutherlands got back to Jackson County late that Tuesday night, August 18th, 2020.
We got home, we just went straight to bed.
Yes.
And next morning it was back to work.
And Sydney, after a workout with the trainer, captured on this surveillance photo the next morning, unloading from the family's vacation, the last photo they have of her.
She said, then I'm going to go running. And I was like, Sydney, don't run today. You know, we've been gone. Rest, get you some sleep.
You just left the trainer?
Yes, you left the trainer. You did an hour hard workout. Why would? She goes, it just releases me.
The 25-year-old went for her run on Jackson County Road 41. The phone rang. A few hours later, it was Sydney's boyfriend.
He called me right after 5 and he says, have you seen Sydney? And I said, no.
Calls to Sydney went to voicemail.
My heart just dropped.
Texts unanswered.
Something just was not right.
Snapchats unread.
My fear was being kidnapped on that road.
An all-hands-on search started for Sydney.
We were just trying to find any kind of clue that we could.
Hundreds of volunteers descended on County Road 41. Detectives searched for anyone who may have seen something. Sam says he got a phone call. One of the first tips from someone he knew in town.
Called me and said that Quake seen her heading south over the overpass, headed back home. And that's all, that was basically all that was said. So we knew the last sighting of her was at the interstate headed home.
By Quake.
By Quake.
Quake Llewellyn, 28, a familiar face to the family, graduated high school just a few years before Sydney joined the search.
He just walked up and just stood by a tree.
Maggie says Quake appeared to be lurking, maybe trying to listen in near the command post.
Walked over to him and I said, Quake, can you tell me anything? What was Sydney doing? You know, did you see anything unusual? Did you meet anybody unusual? He goes, no, she was just running. I said, you don't have anything you can tell me? No, she was just running. He just kind of gave me a little hug.
He gave you a hug.
Gave me a hug.
What did that feel like in that moment?
It was something felt odd. I walked back over to the group and I was like, something's wrong.
And odd it was. That very next morning, Quake and his dad went to Arkansas State Police for an interview. After all, Sam says Quake's dad is the one who called in one of those first few tips. State troopers say the two allowed investigators to search their truck. That's when detectives say they found blood inside the cracks of the tailgate. Back on 41, a glimmer of hope.
Well, we were down on our hands and knees, crawling on the ground, and I was like, I found a bead. Sydney's been here.
But as that hope started setting in, Sam's phone rang. Sheriff David Lucas needed him to gather the family.
That was the hardest trip I've ever had to take, is from the overpass to the house. They told me there's a body discovered and that's basically all they told me. But I knew, then I knew we was gonna have to go up there and break it to her too, so I mean, it was just, that part was the worst part, by far.
detectives found Sydney.
He just broke it to me. It was devastating.
Even harder to grasp why Llewellyn allegedly picked her daughter. Sam says the two knew each other, but they weren't close. Troopers say Llewellyn passed Sydney, turned around at the overpass, and then hit her with his truck.
We just don't know where or what happened at the time, you know.
Llewellyn is accused of kidnapping, raping, and killing Sydney.
The charges he's facing, is that for the death penalty?
Yes.
Do you want him to face the death penalty?
As of right now, I'm going to say yes.
Do you think you guys would ever come to a day where you say, I forgive him?
Absolutely not.
Maggie says it's outpouring of support from around the world, helping the family through its darkest moment.
Beautiful blonde hair, dark brown eyes, pearl white smile that lights up the night. Family was a world.
At Sydney's final resting spot, there's another bright pink cross.
Don't want her to be forgotten.
A symbol to remember a young woman taken too soon, and an everyday reminder for every parent driving or just jogging by.
Don't forget when you see your child that tell them you love them. Could be your last words.
The Sutherlands are creating a foundation in Sydney's name. There's a scholarship for future Arkansas State University students pursuing an education in the medical field. As for Quake Llewellyn, he has pled not guilty in the case. He's not scheduled to be back in court for several months. Back to you.